Back in Indianapolis, this crowd is pumped as we take a look at the starting lineups. One
Keith and Greg Willard, how will they allow this game to be played underneath the hoop?
Sam Cassell controlling the opening tip and setting things up. Wanted the pick from Thomas. Now the pick and roll. Bad pass, but scooped up by Thomas at a 2-0 Milwaukee lead.
Tim Thomas has great hands, and it was down below his waist. And now we have to see what kind of defensive pressure Milwaukee is going to be able to exert.
And Thomas opening up defending against Smits. Call for the foul. Indiana would love to get Rick Smits going. Very quiet game on Sunday night.
You didn't have to play that well, Marv, because the Davises, Dale and Antonio, were monsters, just dominating every aspect of the pivot play.
So they double up on Smits. Cassell able to deflect it out of bounds.
Well, a lot of the rotations that George Karl is going to go with today have to do with what he learned in game one. Tractor trailer. Oh, beautiful back cut. Reggie Miller, but he's called for the push off on Ray Allen.
So the Bucks get it back. Milwaukee finished the regular season 28-22, the number 7 seed. It's their first trip to the playoffs since back in 1991, the 20th time in the history of the franchise. And when you consider this is a revamped team with that series of trades that were made right at the deadline, Cassell makes it a 4-0 lead. They picked up 5 new players right at the trade deadline. They were restructured, and yet after that initial problem area, they dropped 5 in a row. They turned around and finished very solid.
Some of those trades forced on Milwaukee and George Karl as Reggie Miller throws one carelessly out of the bounds. Pacers off to a very slow start, but George Karl in the league affected by the impact of the agents around, and he's got a team that he likes. He's got perimeter scorers, and he's got some big guys developing players who can get physical inside.
Here comes Jackson, who had 12 assists the other night. Chris Mullin got off to the good start in the first half in game one. Oh, took a shot. And Mullin for 3. Yes. The Bucks 4, the Pacers 3.
Mullin bailing the Pacers out of some very poor spacing on that transition play. Mark Jackson caught along the baseline. Looked like a little bit of pinball wizard down there, Marv.
Glenn Robinson still bothered by the knee problem. Not able to get going the other night. Gives it up for the 3-point attempt by Thomas, an air ball. Here comes Jackson.
George Karl would rather have Thomas pound away inside. Leave the outside shooting to Ray Allen and Glenn Robinson.
Dale Davis wheeling and hitting. Dale Davis, 7 of 11, 16 points, 15 rebounds in game one.
That was the difference, Marv. His patience, his deliberate attack. Oh, Glenn Robinson, so smooth with his offensive moves. In game one, Dale Davis was just too strong for anybody that George Karl put at him. Now, he's come with Irvin Johnson, who's an extraordinary shot blocker. Doesn't have a lot of weight, Irvin Johnson. But Dale Davis, who has become an offensive force due to a lot of offseason work, Marv.
Mullin called for the foul. And big dog Glenn Robinson, a star in high school at nearby Gary, Indiana, and then at Purdue. George Karl saying that Robinson looked tentative in game one Sunday night, and he was the Pacers' first priority defensively. He was not able to find his shots the other night.
Well, he should have been tentative. It was his first playoff game ever, as this franchise has struggled through a lean 8 years, Mark.
And we get the 3-second violation call. Don't blame all 8 years on Glenn Robinson. The guy's been in the league, what? This is his 5th season.
Well, we'll just blame the last 5 then. We'll have to go back to the record book and check who we can pin the tag on for the first 3 years.
And the offensive foul call made by Hugh Hollins.
I was just told that it was Frank Brickowski, but I'm not going to go that far and put it on Frank.
Frank Brickowski, a member of the front line of the last time the Bucks made the playoffs.
Beautiful defense by Reggie Miller, who has really worked his way to the point where he's a complete all-around basketball player.
That pass off to Mark Smits trying to save it. Game is tied at 5. We played 3 minutes. Irvin Johnson, yes, and the foul. So Johnson will go to the line.
Marv, Irvin Johnson was with George Karl in the great years of Seattle when they made it to the NBA Finals in 1996. Outrunning the floor, George Karl knows what Irvin can do. Most importantly, he knows what he can't do. He doesn't try to put him in situations when he's going to have to score or make plays. He's a shot blocker, he's a rebounder, and he's a great team guy, and that's why George Karl loves him.
Sloppy start, as you see, for Indiana. Dale Davis, I think, surprised that he was untouched getting that deep.
We've seen Milwaukee do this. I don't think they're quite used to George Karl's gimmick trapping defenses. They tend to run away from the guy who has the ball in scoring position far too often, Marv.
As Ray Allen unleashes, again, offensive foul, illegal pick.
A plethora of offensive fouls in the early going. Thomas pushing off, setting illegal screens. The timing of the squads, Marva, just not sharp, as you pointed out.
Thomas picked up the foul a second. He sits down, has some words for Jack Neese. And Robert Tractor Traylor has checked in. First-round draft pick out of Michigan. Bothered by the sprained wrist. Rebounded by Allen. Ray Allen had a solid game the other night. This after having his difficulties during the regular season against the Pacers. Allen able to recover.
It's been 5 straight victories for Indiana over Milwaukee, Marv. So the Pacers have got their number. Milwaukee searching for that puzzle to how to make it work for them.
Johnson. And the rebound handled by Dale Davis. Bucks 8, Pacers 7. 4 minutes gone by.
I'd come back to Dale Davis. He's been a hot hand. They've had no answer for him.
Here's Smith. And Robinson on the wing. Feeding Allen, whips by Miller. And the Bucks now lead 10-7.
The number of offensive players that George Karl has at his disposal who can do everything. Glenn Robinson, magnificent. Ray Allen. Here's that trap, changing, pressing defense, trying to confuse and scatter the Pacers' attack.
And that pass overthrown. Indiana looking the way they did when they came out in the third quarter the other night, where they had some difficulties, and the Bucks were able to get back into it momentarily.
But a much more physical presence for Milwaukee right now. Beautiful pass inside by Cassell.
Irvin Johnson not able to hit. Crowd looking for a traveling violation.
And Sam Cassell's not trying to play the game by himself today.
Oh, way off. Yes, Sam came out firing the other night.
Verbally as well.
Yes. Through the hands of Robinson, so the Bucks turn it over. 6:58 remaining in the first quarter. And a timeout called by the Pacers. Bucks by 3. We'll be right back. What a performance by Jalen Rose the other night. 9 of 10, 24 points, 17 in the first half. Pacers off to a struggling start. Mullen fires the 3.
Marv, you mentioned that struggling start for Indiana. In 12 possessions, they have 5 turnovers. So Larry Bird not happy with the execution, the crispness. And certainly everyone in the game of basketball can learn a lot about the pressure that Larry Bird always lived with and delivered under that pressure.
Foul on Traylor. I know you talked to your one-time teammate, Larry Bird, earlier. Coming off...
I thought you were going to say one-time friend.
That too.
Friend.
That too. But with his club reaching perfection the other night in Game 1, foul is called against the Bucks. How does he keep him at that level?
Larry's message to the team today was about remembering the 1985 NBA Finals, Boston and the Lakers, hosted by the Celtics. Now, Game 1, Larry and the Celtics routed the Lakers by 40 points. Game 2, after a lackadaisical practice and shoot-around in between, Game 2, the Lakers came back and won, and the Celtics never really recovered. Larry Bird and the Celtics lost their championship that year in 1985, the first time the Celtics ever lost on their home court in the finals. Larry is not about to let that happen again to this Pacer team.
So Larry going to Boston Celtic folklore to try to pump his team to
whatever it takes, Mark.
Dale Davis, who is a vastly improved free throw shooter, although only 2 for 5 in Game 1, hits 1 of 2, and the Bucks now lead by the score of 10-8. We're halfway through this opening quarter. Cassell changed his mind. Johnson with a nice feed for Traylor. Good setup. And the Bucks now lead by 4.
Marv, this is a terrific start for George Karl because Sam Cassell's not shooting every time he comes near the ball. Took 16 shots as the point guard the other day.
Oh, look how Rick Smith shaken up as he and Irvin Johnson came together. And Sam Cassell had some words with Jack Neese, and a technical foul has been called. Might be on Johnson. Let's see.
Rick Smith is going to get hit in the head, obviously. Irvin Johnson is unaware of the fact that he clocked him. He hit him with with the elbow right there. The second time after catching him with the shoulder. Irvin trying to get around in front, which is a George Karl trademark defensive strategy. And just good hard play there, inadvertent contact. But when the guy gets hit in the face, you almost have to call a foul.
And it is a flagrant, so the technical foul converted by Reggie Miller.
Ray Allen to the bench. And Haywood Workman into the lineup, an ex-player here with the Indiana Pacers who was a victim of just too many good players ahead of him after he suffered that horrendous knee injury a couple years ago, Marv.
Yes, sat out all of last season. Well, Rick Smith, who took the shot in the head, obviously not affected, went right into the corner jump shot. And here is Cassell, yes, and the Bucks now lead 14-9.
Controlling the pace, controlling the tempo. Sam Cassell at his best here.
Sam Cassell has played only 8 games during the regular season and the 1 playoff game the other night because of that ankle injury. 4 with New Jersey and 4 with Milwaukee. Foul called on Cassell, reaching in on Miller. And that is team foul number 5. They're over the limit.
The battle for position down low. Reggie Miller working, flailing the arms as all great post players do, trying to draw the official's attention. Cassell now playing the off guard as Workman out in front, pressuring the ball. Not enough pressure on Mark Jackson to give Sam Cassell some help down low.
Earlier tonight it was Orlando knocking off Philadelphia. In Orlando, 79-68 to tie that series at 1. Penny Hardaway had 22. Allen Iverson led the Sixers with 13. Did not shoot well. And we'll have post-game reaction of the Magic and the Sixers coming up at halftime.
Imagine the crowd in Philadelphia the next game. It'll be their first playoff game since Charles Barkley was there. That crowd is hungry. Pat Croce really put a nice team together there under Larry Brown.
Bucks by 3. 5 minutes to go in the first. Here's Reggie Miller pulling it up for the 3. And rebounded by Johnson. Now the Bucks on the run. They have a 3-on-2. Johnson looks to finish it off with a pass to Robinson, and a blocking foul is called. The basket will not count, but it's a block on the Pacers.
Irvin Johnson taking advantage of Rick Smith's in transition. Larry Bird can't believe it, but Big Irvin at a University of New Orleans, coached by Tim Floyd, now the Bulls coach. Mark Jackson inside that dotted line. Referees unable to call that charging foul. I like it when big guys come down the lane on the break and lift that knee right into the midsection of those guards who are trying to take those foolish charges in there.
Jackson called for his second foul. And the Bucks maintain possession. Here's Travis Best checking in, replacing Mark Jackson. Marv Albert, Bill Walton, and Lewis Johnson. As Peter Vesey mentioned, prior to the Orlando-Philadelphia game, Bill acquired from NBC Sports for future in considerations. It was a very complex series of 10-day contracts. Robinson, crowd looking for steps. Traylor, the tip missed by Johnson. Obviously, the Bucks doing a much better job off the boards after they were trounced in that department the other night.
They're a different team with Irvin Johnson in the starting lineup. Can they maintain? That's the big question. They have control of this game in the early going.
Miller, foul, hacked by his former teammate, Haywood Workman.
Mark, I've always been amazed by Reggie Miller's footwork, who I think is the best in the NBA without the ball. And I was talking to him before this game. Now, Reggie, of course, went to UCLA, grew up in Los Angeles, and I asked him where he got that footwork, and he said he learned it from Kiki Vandeweghe, playing in the summer. Kiki was 4 or 5 years older, and showed him all the tricks from in the games. They stay for hours and hours afterwards. Of course, Kiki Vandeweghe now working with Pete Newell, among other things, and other people at the Pete Newell Big Man Camp in Hawaii every year. And watching Reggie Miller without the ball, that footwork, just exquisite.
Antonio Davis, hearing it from the crowd, coming off the strong game 1 on Sunday, on the floor for the first time. Just under 4 remaining in this first quarter, and the foul is called a hold. It's on Best. That is his first.
Marv, one of the lessons that Milwaukee has apparently learned is how rough and physical the NBA playoffs are. George Karl has got them sharp. He's got them prepared. They are using every part of their bodies to deny Indiana.
Cassell backing Best, and the foul is called. So the Pacers now over the foul limit for Best. It is his second, and the very chatty and amiable Sam Cassell to the line.
One of the things that the Bucks have done very, very well is come out and talked about passing that basketball.
Well, a look ahead tomorrow. Doubleheader on both TBS and TNT. We have plenty of NBA playoff action. Hawks and Pistons starting at 7 on TBS, followed by the Blazers and the Suns. And then game 3, the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks from Madison Square Garden in New York. That'll be a TNT telecast at 8, followed by the Utah Jazz and the Sacramento Kings on TNT. And how about the Kings coming up with a victory at the Delta Center last night?
Marv, the Utah Jazz, they handle adversity better than any team in the NBA, but the Kings,
wild pass by Cassell over the top, and they're going to call a foul.
that ball had no chance of being caught.
And that's 3 on Best.
He hasn't been in there more than a minute and a half. Larry Bird quickly coming with Jalen Rose.
And Jalen will hear it from the crowd when he is announced. Made his way over to the scorer's table as Glenn Robinson will shoot a pair. So the Bucks extend to a 17-13 lead. And here are the cheers for Jalen Rose.
Our congratulations to Jalen Rose, who, like his teammate on the floor, Antonio Davis, both tied for 3rd place in the 6th man of the NBA award for the year, announced yesterday. Of course, won by Darrell Armstrong from the Orlando Magic.
Darrell joining there's Reggie Miller hitting the 3, and the Bucks now lead 18-16. Darrell adding his name to a list that includes one Bill Walton back in '86. I voted for you, though.
Is that the first time you ever voted for a Celtic, Marv?
May have been. 20-16, the Bucks now lead by 4 with 2:45 remaining in this first quarter.
Terrific defense, Workman.
Rose passed on the shot. Here's Miller putting the move on Workman and hitting. Reggie Miller with 10 points in this first quarter. 10 of the Pacers, 18.
That's the Pacers coming together as a team. Rose, even though he's hot the last game, not trying to force it, giving it to Reggie, who's already got his rhythm intact.
Robinson looking much more assertive offensively. And the Bucks lead by 4. That's 7 for Robinson.
Glenn told me, Marv, that his knee's feeling a lot better, a lot looser. Remember, these couple of guys just started playing again in the playoff after missing the end of the regular season for Milwaukee.
I want you to know he said the same thing to James Worthy the other night. I'm not struggling.
Well, much better from 2 days ago. Still much better than from 4 days ago.
Chris Mullin from downtown, and the Bucks lead 22-21. Mullin got off to the good start the other night. He has 6 points in this first quarter. Workman going glass. Not his intention. Trailer. And tractor trailer much more active than we saw in the first game of this series.
He is a special player. George Karl likens him to a combination of Charles Oakley and Charles Barkley.
Oh, vicious hit by Tractor Trailer on Reggie Miller. No need for that.
2 points tonight for Penny. 7 of 15 shooting against the Sixers. Also had 7 rebounds and 4 assists. And that is point number 11 for Reggie Miller. So the Bucks now lead 24-22 with 1:10 remaining in this first quarter. The winner of this series between Indiana and Milwaukee will face the winner between Orlando and Philadelphia. That series is now tied at 1 with the scene shifting to the city of brotherly love.
All 3 of these teams, Milwaukee, Orlando, and Philadelphia, in Indiana's bracket, are the kind of teams that give the Pacers trouble. Young, quick, and athletic.
Here's Trailer, good post-up move, and the Bucks now lead 26-23. Del Curry, who struggled the other night playing with a bad back, 1 of 8 from the field, has checked in, as has Michael Curry, who is virtually a one-arm player coming back from a shoulder separation, wearing the protection. Here's Miller for 3, and rebounded by Robinson. Nearly stolen, and then it is batted away. Picked up by Derek McKee, who just came in following the timeout.
They finally get a rebound, and then they give it away with not protecting the ball. The Davises just making their presence felt. Tractor Trailer so quick, Mars.
And Workman is on the ball. We are down to 10 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Bucks by 3. Down to 5. Can't find a shot. Down to 2. Here's Trailer at the buzzer. A very solid first quarter by the Milwaukee Bucks. After 1 here at Market Square, they lead 28-23.
Tractor Trailer realizing as he glanced at the shot clock at the far end that he had to go quickly. Trailer, having a big performance off the bench. And the points in the paint. What a turnaround. 14-4 for Milwaukee. The exact opposite of that in game 1, Marv.
Fred Hoiberg with an early entrance here in the second quarter. Sam Perkins also on the floor, and he is hacked by Michael Curry.
Larry Bird told me that Hoiberg made the playoff roster. In exchange, Reggie Miller getting some treatment on that right knee. Our sideline reporter Lewis has been over there trying to find out what's wrong with Reggie, but Hoiberg took the regular season roster spot of Al Harrington. Al Harrington, the New Jersey high school prospect that didn't, unfortunately for him, make the playoff roster. But Larry Bird is now working out before the game. A little bit disappointed, but Larry Bird feels that he needs a full complement of guards in case one of them gets hurt. And so that's why Hoiberg is on this playoff roster and will be throughout the run for the Indiana Pacers.
Hoiberg played only 12 games this season, a total of 87 minutes. Played briefly right at the end of game 1. Incidentally, nice play, and again Trailer gets inside. The roster that begins the playoffs will hold up throughout the postseason. If a player is injured, he cannot be replaced. That's it.
And you're down to 11, 10, 9, all the way as you count them down with injuries.
Bucks by 6. Rose with a runner. Little hesitation, but he hit him. Jalen Rose continues to show us the entire repertoire. It cuts it to a 4-point Milwaukee lead.
Very small Milwaukee team right now. Tractor's the only big guy inside. A lot of shooters in support of Haywood Workman, though.
Michael Curry. Now, the other night, it looked like he would have a shot and not trust the right hand because of the separated shoulder on the right side, and he would try to move in closer, but that was a pretty good medium-range jump shot.
George Karl and the Indiana doctors told me that they have advised Michael Curry not to play. But that's the kind of toughness he has. And we remember him from his great days at the Detroit Pistons.
6-point Buck lead. 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Antonio Davis had it stripped by Del Curry.
Transition defense so improved from game 1, Marv, for Milwaukee.
Michael Curry working on Jalen Rose. Perhaps a bit overconfident after that jump shot a moment ago. Nice pass. Rose with the lead for Perkins. And the Buck lead is now 32-28.
Marv, if Sam Perkins is beating you down the court, then you have to call a timeout. In Los Angeles, he'd love to get back into NBA coaching.
Yes, he's a playoff consultant to George Karl's staffs. He said, people ask me if I want to coach again. He said, well, I didn't quit in LA.
Not a voluntary departure for Dell. A lot of people saying, well, maybe it wasn't all Dell's fault after all in Los Angeles.
Mark Jackson is back on the floor. Sam Perkins up front with Antonio Davis and Derek McKee. Rose and Jackson in the backcourt. And here's Rose with the shot clock running down. McKee trying to keep it alive. He does. Rose on the recovery. Antonio Davis, yes, and the foul. He was hit by Trailer.
Talking to Antonio Davis about his matchup with Tractor Trailer, he said he was a little bit amazed how short Tractor Trailer is. Now, when I stood next to him, Tractor's a full 6'8". Antonio Davis comes in, I think, close to 6'10". So that two-inch height advantage serving Antonio well there. As Tractor to the bench now in foul trouble, Mark.
That's his third. He fouled out in game one. Well, Trailer is listed at 6'7.5". And as you know, Bill, when you add that half in,
oh, that's the difference.
Right. That means you are stretching it a bit. You say he's 6'8" on the Bill Walton barometer.
And Tim Thomas a full 6'9", so plenty of size there for Milwaukee, as long as they play as big as they stand.
Here's Allen, and quiet. Chris Gatling has come on for the first time. Rose putting moves on Workman. And the foul is called.
Larry Bird up off the bench cannot believe this call.
Offensive foul on Jalen Rose.
Terrific position, though, for Haywood Workman. Jalen, who had his way, did everything he wanted. Question is, was Haywood Workman inside that stripe? No, clearly outside. Maybe 3 feet outside the stripe. Fans booing here, and that's what the Milwaukee Bucks want. If you're on the roll and you've got the fans booing, then everything is going your way as they now have a 2-point lead.
Haywood Workman spent 4 years with the Pacers. Very popular player here.
Well, great in the community, Haywood Workman, wherever he's been.
Allen bottled up and fouled. Combination of Perkins and McKee, and it's Derek McKee who picks it up. This is game 2 of the best of 5. Game 3 Thursday night at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, and we'll be there right here on TBS starting 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Game 4, if necessary, Saturday in Milwaukee, and then game 5, if necessary, back here in Indiana next Monday night.
Looking forward to a beautiful couple of days, Marv, in Milwaukee in the springtime, as the Midwestern weather is just fabulous right now. Hot, sweaty, beautiful clear skies, just like playing basketball.
Bill now working for the Chamber of Commerce on the side. Bucks have a 2-point lead. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Cassell digging for the shot, and rebounded by Antonio Davis. Bucks scoreless the last 3 minutes. Perkins backs to 3-point territory. And Indiana leads by 1. Here comes McKee. And Jack Neese blowing the whistle down at the baseline, calling it away from the ball. It's against the Bucks. Foul on Gatling, his first.
To the Bucks and George Karl's credit, they're physical away from the ball, where you need to establish your presence. Control the tempo. Del Curry trying to rally the troops as the leader right now.
First time the Pacers have led since the early moments when they were up 5-4. Jackson. And he draws the foul.
Pacers starting to find a bit of a rhythm right now, Marv, as their defense has tightened. Mark Jackson will get a trip to the line. But the turnovers for Milwaukee have plagued the Bucks. The failure to keep control of the rebounds. What they need to do is get that special hot hand for one guy right now for George Karl and the Bucks. So they can come back and keep Indiana on the defensive, back on their heels, as opposed to stretching out and using the long arms of Derek McKee and Sam Perkins, Antonio Davis, and Jalen Rose.
So it's Indiana 35 and Milwaukee 32. 9 unanswered by the Pacers, who have settled down after the shaky start. Allen fires a three. The steal by Gatling took it away from Antonio Davis, but could not maintain possession.
He was caught in the air and already had to give it up. Nobody on his teammates was aware that he even had the ball.
Rose, after a nice crossover move, overshot.
That was their first miss, Indiana, in the last 7 minutes. Terrific steal by Jackson Marv.
And Jackson looking to clear it out. McKee posting up on Curry, and a foul on Curry. Del Curry, the other. Welcome back to Market Square in Indianapolis. Reggie Miller, who had the hot shooting opening quarter with 12 points, has sat out the start of this second quarter. They have been icing him down. For more on Reggie's status, let's go to Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
Well, Marv, Pacer head trainer David Craig has been working very hard on Reggie Miller, giving him massages with special creams. As you mentioned, the ice. He actually has a spot above his right knee that he actually bumped knees with someone else on the court. Now, Pacers are trying to rest him as much as possible, as long as they hang in the game the way they are now. If they begin to struggle, we're told that Miller will return. Marv?
All right, thanks, Lewis. 6:26 remaining in this first half, and the Pacers now lead by the score of 37-32.
Marv, Reggie Miller, 12 years in the NBA, counting this one, rarely misses a game, one of the most durable players. But watching trainer Dave Craig work on Reggie, you can see the grimacing on the face of Reggie. That's not a good sign for Larry Bird.
And Del Curry continues to struggle with the shot. 0 for 2 this evening after the 1 for 8 the other day.
Marv, Milwaukee has 4 points in the second quarter already. They're over 6 minutes gone. What happened to their offense?
Here's the key. Well, they came out in very physical fashion. I think the departure of Traylor on fouls after he picked up his third has hurt. Curry. And back comes Jackson. He has Rose and Davis. Rose with the left hand could not put it home.
Fine rebound by Chris Gatling that time.
And Antonio Davis able to break up the foray attempted by Cassell, but the foul is called. And here is Reggie Miller. So he will give it a go. Reggie checking back in. Sam Perkins sits down.
Marv, Sam Cassell at the line here. Told me before the game that he's going to require surgery on his right ankle at the end. He's got a couple of chips right at the front of the ankle. Sam, a very special player. Out of Baltimore, went to Dunbar High School. Same high school that produced Reggie Lewis, the late Reggie Lewis, Reggie Williams, Muggsy Bogues, David Wingate, and Keith Booth. Then he went on to the Houston Rockets. His first 2 years in the NBA, he won 2 NBA championships. How fortunate.
Played without any fear also his first 2 years.
But in a role with Houston, coming off the bench, leading the second unit, where I think he's best suited.
Shot clock at 5. Rose with the rebound and the reverse. Jalen Rose. And the Pacers now lead 39-34. Cassell out of control, lost it. Recovered by Robinson. Here's Glenn Robinson. Wild dribbling and wild shots being taken by Milwaukee. And a jump ball is called as Gatling tied up Antonio Davis. Davis felt he was fouled.
Not a good sequence for the Milwaukee Bucks. Glenn Robinson, far too many dribbles to come up with that shot. He was stumbling just to get his balance, and he's putting shots up. Chris Gatling reaches around. That's why players like Antonio Davis need to keep their elbows out, as Greg Willard steps right in there to correctly call the jump ball.
The Bucks, Bill, have missed their last 7 shots.
George Karl talked about offensive droughts that young teams go through without a special go-to guy. We've seen Orlando go through that when Penny doesn't respond. Milwaukee, it has to be Glenn Robinson, Ray Allen, Sam Cassell. Those are the players currently for George Karl who have to be their go-to guy. And Sam Cassell won't even let the game get started. Actually, either be a technical foul or a delay of game or both.
Well, the ball awarded to the Pacers. The Bucks with only 2 points the last 6 minutes. And the Pacers have a 39-34 lead. And again, away from the ball, a foul. Michael Curry pleading his case. But he's hit with the call as he was holding Jalen Rose. And the Bucks have been over the limit for some time. So Rose to the line.
Marvin, our pregame segment, we talked about the Bucks with their gimmick defenses, the George Karl trademark, not being able to dig in defensively. They have done that tonight. They have stood their ground. They have challenged the Pacers to beat them off the dribble. George Karl making all the adjustments as Larry Bird comes back with Rick Smits for Antonio Davis.
Rose, a 79% free throw shooter. The rap on the Indiana Pacers this season was that many times they did not play with passion, that they felt they could coast through the regular season. It was a disappointing year. Players are quick to say that. So is Larry Bird, 33-17. They win the Central. They finish as the #2 seed. They're gunning for #1 with all the expectations. Here's Robinson, and he is fouled, blocked and fouled. But I think that they feel they're on the right track. The 4 straight at the end of the regular season. The resounding win in game #1. And they would like to put the Bucks away as quickly as possible as they look ahead to the second round. Of course, Milwaukee has other thoughts on that matter.
About the sense of passion, though, with the Indiana Pacers that you were mentioning, Mark, that's not really the personality of this team, and that's what's frustrating for Larry Bird, because he was the passion for the Boston Celtics, along with Danny Ainge. But this team doesn't really have a guy who's bouncing around the walls in the locker room, who's coming and challenging guys every day and really making everyone play at the highest level of their current capabilities.
Here's Rose. And the Pacers now lead by 7.
Irvin Johnson has lost his impact defensively in this game as Derek McKee does a terrific defensive job. He gets called for a holding foul against a superior offensive player in Glenn Robinson.
And it's team foul #4 on Indiana.
The right side of your screen, Derek McKee trying to get around in front. And then correctly, Glenn Robinson moves up the lane, trying to create more space for the lob to be effectively delivered.
Bill, Indiana went through another phase recently where Larry Bird changed the substitution pattern at the end of games. The recovery by Allen. He thought he was fouled and had a valid point, but nothing called. Jackson coming up short, and he is fouled by Cassell. He was starting Mark Jackson, but then coming at the end of games with Travis Best, and there were several other adjustments, and he's gone back to staying with the starters at the end of the game.
When I asked Larry about that, Marv, he was reflecting on how he had to give his starters more of a chance, more of an opportunity. He felt that he was too predictable in his substitution patterns. It's easy to be predictable early in the games. The guys can find their roles. Travis Best, Jalen Rose, Sam Perkins, Antonio Davis to get in and know they're going to make a contribution, have the opportunity. But give the starters that chance to come back and make the play happen.
Well, tomorrow night on Turner, doubleheaders on both TBS and TNT. Hawks and Pistons, game 3, starting at 7 o'clock on TBS, followed by Portland and Phoenix. And then the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks in game 3. That series tied at 1. That'll be 8 o'clock on TNT, followed by the Jazz and the Kings.
And how about the pressures on Grant Hill with the team not doing well? He's a free agent at the end of the year, wondering what's going to happen there if the Pistons are going to be able to put a team together in support of that special player.
Oh, the steal by Rose, stripping Allen. Indiana with the ball. They lead by 8 as we approach 3 minutes left in the first half. Indiana's outscored Milwaukee 18-4 the last 7 minutes. Smits from Jackson. Rick Smits going glass. That's his first field goal. And a 20 called by Milwaukee. 22nd timeout taken. David Craig, the Indiana trainer, checking out Mark Jackson.
Hopefully that neck is all right. Spinning around as he tried to follow the ball defensively tonight for Larry Bird.
Robinson. And Smits with the rebound.
When Derek McKee falls down defensively like that, Glenn Robinson has to deliver that jumper. Timeout, Larry Bird, 20 seconds. Victories in front of this hostile crowd at Market Square Arena.
And the Pacer bench informing us that Mark Jackson is all right. They were just loosening up his neck. Very similar to what you go through during halftime. Jackson fired a three.
Marv, I actually thought that his neck problems came from wondering which Albert was broadcasting this game.
I see.
Marv Albert or Marv's father, Al Albert.
Right. My dad has done a nice job here for the Pacers.
He's the local broadcaster, Al Albert, Marv's father.
Jackson putting moves on Michael Curry. Oh, Smits and Curry with some pushing and shoving. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Rose for 3. So Jalen Rose contributing again. 11 points for Rose.
This is as disciplined a game as I've ever seen Jalen Rose play, Marv.
All 11 points have come in the second quarter. Jackson was called for the push.
Jackson playing the high post there, just spreading it out, waiting for the defense to come. That's the Indiana's offensive scheme. Let Mark do whatever he wants. There's not a lot of real set patterns and plays, but they have such terrific shooters in support of Mark that as soon as somebody leans off balance ever so slightly, Mark's able to put the ball right on the money.
All right, Sam Cassell to the line. We'll check in with Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
Marv, just a moment ago in the last timeout, George Karl warning his guys not to panic. He told them they're still in the game. He served up another warning. He said, do not begin to play individual basketball. Stay within the team game plan, and things will be okay. Marv?
All right, thanks, Lewis. And we have certainly seen that after the good start, swinging the ball, looking for other people in the first quarter. You mentioned Sam Cassell had altered his game slightly at the start, but they've gone right back into the pattern of gunning them up in the second quarter.
And that's killed them as they haven't been able to get any sort of consistent flow. They're not running the floor with the big guys. Irvin Johnson, who was out early, and then nobody's making any shots, and Sam Cassell feeling he's forced to shoot on his own every time.
Oh, nice pass. Smits does the rest, and the Pacers now lead 51-38.
Indiana's Chris Mullin, Sam Perkins, and Derek McKee all played for George Karl. He knows how special all those guys are.
Allen tried to feed it to Johnson, but it was broken up.
Chris Mullin, who played for George Karl in the 80s at Golden State when Chris Mullin was a 25 per game scorer for 4 straight years. Now a role player, but still in phenomenal shape, and has really worked at developing that perfect body that he's blessed with.
Rick Smits sits down. Antonio Davis is back. Indiana has outscored Milwaukee 28-10 here in the second quarter. Cassell on the recovery.
3 shot on the shot clock.
Allen fires. Allen has been off.
Marv, it's fallen apart for Milwaukee when Tractor Trailer went to the bench. Big loss. They've got to find a way to keep him in the lineup. Foul trouble plagued him. He's got 3.
Ray Allen is now 1 of 6 from the field. Illegal defense called for the first time against the Bucks. So 34 seconds remaining in this first half. Coming up on the AT&T halftime report, Ernie, Kenny, and Peter bring you all of the scores and highlights from tonight's action back at our studios in Atlanta.
Milwaukee led 32-30 when Tractor Trailer went to the bench with those 3 fouls. Since then, they've only got 6 points. Well, Indiana has far too many for me to calculate.
Rose Facing up against Cassell. Jackson behind the back to the crowd.
You can do that with a 13-point lead in the last play.
So we come up on 10 seconds left in the half. Milwaukee down by 13. Here's Michael Curry. So that's his second field goal. 51-40 Indiana. Final seconds. And Jackson is taken down by Cassell.
Beautiful basketball. Talking about the right things, about passing the ball, playing the team game. The Pacers, who out-assisted the Bucks 2-1 in the game one. In the first half today, it was virtually even. Good, strong rebound by Tim Thomas that time, who George Karl refers to as his most athletic player, even more talented than Ray Allen.
All right, Sam Cassell in the backcourt with Ray Allen, just 1 for 6 from the field in that first half. Thomas is up front with Johnson and Robinson. Thomas with a beautiful ball, but it will not count. Offensive foul. Call for a charge.
What is a 7'4" Rick Smits doing standing underneath the basket trying to take charges? Get off your feet, get above the basket, and block some shots. 7'4". But as Larry often says, Rick, maybe 6'5", closer to 6'5" on the defensive end.
Here's Miller for 3. Back come the Bucks. Cassell. Ray Allen. So Allen cuts it to a 9-point Pacer lead. A minute gone by in the third quarter, and the Pacers open with Jackson and Miller in the backcourt. Smits up front with Dale Davis and Chris Mullin.
There's that footwork we were talking that Reggie Miller learned from Kiki Vandeweghe. That step back coming off the baseline screens.
Robinson being played by Mullin. Robinson during the regular season in the 3 games against the Pacers, as he is able to hit, he now has 11. He averaged over 29 per game. And then in that last regular season meeting, Derek McKee did an excellent job the last 3 quarters against Robinson. It's a 7-point Indiana lead. Miller off a nice lead from Jackson.
No one works harder or more effectively off the ball than Reggie Miller. And when you have guys who can deliver like Mark Jackson, easy layups are the story of your career for Reggie here in Indiana.
Jackson with his 4th assist. Allen for 3. Ray Allen showing some signs, and the Pacers now lead 53-47.
Lewis Johnson talked to George Karl about how to get Ray Allen and Glenn Robinson going. They've both come out on fire, Marv.
Back comes Robinson. Cassell with the shot.
Poor shot selection. Irvin Johnson wide open. Sam never even saw him. Surprised that Armin Gilliam has not got into the game for George Karl as he's tightened up that rotation.
Thomas watched by Dale Davis, and last touched by Davis. They'll have 4 on the shot clock. It's only a 6-point Indiana lead. They led by as many as 13.
That's Armin Gilliam looking on out of UNLV.
Johnson with the shot clock running down. Jackson, nice hesitation move off the dribble to draw the foul. Johnson picks up number 3. As you mentioned a moment ago, this game turned when Tractor Trailer picked up his 3rd and sat down. Very strong performance in the first half by the rookie from Michigan.
Physical player, incredibly athletic, gifted, soft game, really, for a guy as big as he is. He never played football. Growing up in Detroit, he was he idolized Jalen Rose and Chris Webber, who were 4 or 5 years older than he is, and going to Michigan was just the natural progression in his life. Tractor Trailer.
He had an aunt by the name of Lydia Johnson, a star center at the University of Detroit, and Robert Trailer says she was his basketball hero while growing up. 55-47 Pacers. Robinson. Rejected by Smith. Robinson. And it will be Milwaukee ball. Dale Davis could not hang on.
Milwaukee, with the roster that they have, Larry Bird cannot believe that nobody can get a defensive rebound here. Robinson quickly back.
And off the inbound, Sam Cassell able to hit, so he now has 12 points, and the Pacers lead by 6. Here's Mullen for 3. Cassell hustling and was tripped up by Mullen.
Fans here in Market Square Arena getting very much like the Utah Jazz fans, where every call has to go their way, or they are going to let the referees hear about it for the rest of the night. Mullen with the long bomb. Ball bouncing off, careening off, and Sam Cassell has the bead. And when you get knocked down on your way to a fast break, they have to call a foul there.
For Mullen, his second foul. 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Robinson not expecting that pass that was thrown too deep.
Chris Mullen doing a fine job of fronting. But for George Karl, I think that this Milwaukee team has to eventually take on the personality that Larry Brown's got going in Philadelphia right now. Front court guys who are willing rebounders and defenders, and perimeter guys that just cast off lots of shots like Allen Iverson.
Oh, look out. Smith's entangling. Oh, goes right at Thomas. And then a shove to Cassell. So unusual to see Rick Smith lose his temper.
Totally uncalled for, Mark. They blew the whistle. The play is dead.
It will be a double foul at least on Smith and Thomas, as he lost his poise.
And now Hugh Hollins is going to call the referees over to have a quick meeting and to sort things out. The physical play underneath. Tim Thomas does a good job. He's in the right there. He's holding himself. Rick Smith keep pushing and shoving. A little leg lift, a little leg whip. You're supposed to chest bump the guys on your own team, not on the other squad.
So it's a double foul and a technical called on Smith for the shove.
And George Karl is pleading for the shove and the push and for more severe penalties against Rick Smith.
Well, apparently just double technicals called. One on Smith, one on Thomas. Here's Jackson. And last touch by the Bucks.
Milwaukee's right there. They're down 6, and they keep bobbling the ball out of bounds. If they can finally get that handle on those rebounds that are virtually coming right into their wheelhouse.
And a travel on Smith, who was being played by the 6'4" Ray Allen.
I don't think Rick Smith likes the black socks.
Oh, that's it.
I think that may be the difference for Rick.
That is supposedly the good luck charm this time around for the Pacers.
It's a lot better than the shaved head look.
Yes, many of the Pacers have made that point. Robinson. And rebounded by Smith.
Irvin Johnson with a dunking opportunity that he tried to finesse in, couldn't convert.
Nice pass. Miller extends to a 57-49 Indiana lead.
Smith has got fire coming out of his nostrils now, Mark. The Bucks have to match that intensity, that physical play that Smith is now going to come with.
Three-point attempt. Ray Allen turning it here in the third quarter. He has 10 points for the game.
Right to Rick Smith. Just milk him. He's got the anger.
And it's very rare to see Smith playing with anger, but it is obviously paying off. He has picked it up. Pacers now lead by 7.
Nice closeout defense by Jackson.
Cassell, yes. Well, this game is picked up after the Bucks went through that drought period in the second quarter. Just a 5-point Indiana lead. Here's Mullen for 3. Miller on the rebound.
But no rebounding. Where are the hands for Irvin Johnson, Tim Thomas, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson?
Just under 6 minutes left in the third. Cassell got the step and then stripped by Jackson. Miller on the break. Miller out-racing Johnson. And this capacity crowd reacts as Indiana has taken a 7-point lead.
Mark Jackson able to spin around the defense. Irvin Johnson, who couldn't quite figure out what was happening.
Robinson from downtown. So the Bucks, who led the NBA in three-point field goal shooting, are now hitting the threes.
3 for 3 in this third quarter here for Milwaukee. What's amazing about them leading the league, Marv, is they don't have an inside low post threat to draw the defense in.
Dale Davis off the head fake, rejected by Robinson.
Why has Indiana gone away from Rick Smith?
Shot clock was down to 1. Davis just did get a piece of the rim. We're under 5 left in the third. Bucks down by 4. Robinson talked it up. It's a 4-on-1. Jackson with a touch pass to Miller.
Oh, delay of game. Smart play by Mark Jackson if the referee's not going to call it. But Greg Willard right on the play.
Yes, with 4 Pacers in the front court. Good play, so that's the warning. The next delay with a technical foul. 6-point, Indiana lead.
Look at Reggie fight through the screens.
Allen, that's a 2. Ray Allen. Terrific shooting, second quarter. He has 12 points in all. He's 4 for 4 from the field in the second quarter.
And if Milwaukee can stay close until they can get Tractor Trailer back into the lineup, and if Trailer can have a good quality performance, then Milwaukee's got a chance. Good defense.
Mullen stripped by Robinson. 3-on-1. Allen gives it back. Nicely done. And Cassell converted to cut it to a 2-point lead. And Larry Bird wants to talk it over with 3:45 remaining.
Capacity. George and I are just guys who like to hang out and eat, and occasionally he'll have a beer and I'll have a Diet Coke.
Which players on this Milwaukee Buck team really impress you?
Well, I think Trailer's done a nice job tonight. I would say that absent Robinson's had a nice start of the second half. Ray Allen is obviously a little bit apprehensive or nervous. It's his first playoff series. But I think the fact that they've had 4 guys out there who haven't been in the playoffs before starting, and Cassell has done a terrific job tonight. I like the Bucks team, and I especially like Trailer's performance tonight.
When are we going to see you full-time in the NBA, Rick and
No, I can't do that. You know, I like the NBA. I'm one of those college coaches that appreciates the high level of play and the great coaching, as well as the terrific players that play in this league.
All right, Rick, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Shot clock is down to 5, and Trailer is back on the floor for the Bucks. Foul called on Rose. Down to 3:03 to go. In the third, the Pacers with a 63-61 lead. Indiana has led by as many as 13, and the Bucks, after that poor shooting second quarter, have come roaring back.
Now, Marv, I know in the first half you mentioned that Glenn Robinson was from nearby Gary, Indiana. I know you're from New York, Marv, and you need to spend more time in Indiana because Gary is not quite a suburb of Indianapolis.
How many miles?
It's quite a bit of ways away to the very northern end of the state, virtually on the Indiana-Illinois border. It's almost a suburb of Chicago as opposed to Indianapolis.
So built to a New Yorker. 145 miles, I'm told, is the distance. That's nothing.
That's it. It takes less time to get to the airport in New York, right?
You've been saving that one for 3 quarters. Allen for 3. And the Bucks have taken a 66-63 lead. The last time they led, it was 32-30 early second quarter. So Allen with 15, 13 have come in this third quarter.
Beautiful rotating defense by Milwaukee.
A blind pass thrown by Jackson.
Ohio. Ron Harper is a huge basketball fan and really one of the special people in this league.
And gets it up as he is fouled. The push.
The tractor just rolling over Reggie Miller, and that's his 4th foul. So critical error going for that pump fake, but the experience of Reggie Miller just too strong as the Lakers putting on a clinic against the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had that chance in game 1. Scotty lost the ball across the middle and gave the Lakers that chance to win it.
Reggie Miller 92%, just under 92 at the line, which is tops in the NBA. 1-point Milwaukee lead. Hayward Workman is back.
The depth factor in the series so far has clearly been in favor of Indiana, as has been the case in the regular season as well.
Workman off the fake. And the foul is called on Best. Travis Best with number 4. Let's go over to Lewis Johnson. Lewis?
Well, Marv, it was Hayward Workman just a moment ago in the last timeout telling everybody to stay solid, stay fundamental, no gambling. Sam Cassell challenging Glenn Robinson to take the ball to the hole every time. Hit the shot or draw the foul, and George Karl emphasizing very hard that every score in the last few minutes has come off the pass. Keep moving the ball. Marv?
All right, thanks, Lewis. Looked like Jalen Rose went over to Hayward Workman to try and psych him out on his second free throw. Hayward played well against his old club, the Pacers, in a Milwaukee overtime loss during the regular season. Said he shook off the anxiety. Almost came up with a triple-double. Bucks by 2 with 1:45 left in the 3rd quarter. Antonio Davis.
Offensive foul. Antonio Davis rotating his shoulders while his feet firmly planted on the floor. Hugh Hollins on top of the call. Larry Bird knows that's the right one. And Antonio begging it's not going to work. He's got his feet on the floor and he starts swinging those shoulders, and Tim Thomas pointing the other way immediately. One thing that's really helped Milwaukee, they've got 10 baskets this quarter. 7 of them have come on assists. So George Karl's plea for better ball movement is working.
Here's Allen. Yes. He has been on fire. He's hit his last 5 shots. He has 17 points, 15 of the 17 here in the 3rd quarter. And the Bucks now lead 69-65.
And the Bucks aren't gambling as much and trapping and trying to play the gimmicks.
Antonio Davis with the bucket and the foul.
What a shame for this fine rookie player who, the more you watch him, the more you're impressed with his incredible athleticism, fluidity, quickness. But now, plagued by foul trouble, George Karl's going to have to put him on the bench. And George was saying that as a rookie, this guy, he is treated, or mistreated would be the better word, very badly by the referees. And that's a shame, because this guy is a quality player and will make a huge mark on this league. Maybe a dent would be a better word than mark.
Well, don't you think eventually he's going to get the benefit of the doubt? He's got to put some time in, and obviously he's a physical player. And the officials also have to get accustomed to how he plays.
But he's not a dirty player. And talking about the officials getting used to the guys playing. Remember when Dave Cowens first started, the Hall of Fame legendary center for the Celtics? Dave Cowens fouled out of virtually every game the first 2 months of his career.
But though you don't have to be dirty to commit fouls. It could be just fouls.
The referees have to let a physical player play his game. He's not trying to foul out there.
And the ball back to Indiana. Armin Gilliam has come on with the trailer. Sitting down. A foul is called on Thomas. That's number 5.
A lot of charges in this game. A lot of offensive foul called against both teams. Sam Perkins just standing in there, falling back. Looked like Sam fell back before the contact even took place. Thomas to the bench now. Serious foul trouble. George Karl deep to the bench. Armin Gilliam and Michael Curry being the big guys out there with another very small lineup for George Karl.
So 5 apiece on trailer. And Thomas, here's Miller for 3. Down to 35 seconds left. 3rd quarter. Bucks by 1. Oh, it counts. And the foul. A prayer was tossed up. And Best has just collected his 5th.
What a perfect opportunity for Hayward Workman to come back and throw a jumper in the face of the team. That released him, that waved him. It looked like his career was over. There was question marks about Hayward Workman's knee after he tore it up a few years ago. He worked relentlessly on rehab. He's back. He says it's a little bit stiff at the start of each stint that he gets for George Karl, but once he gets going, once he starts pounding that chest, then everything is fine.
Workman gunning for a 3-point play. Glenn Robinson sitting down here in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter. Bucks, by virtue of that 3-point play by Workman, now lead 72-68. 25 seconds remaining in the 3rd. Battle between Miller and Allen. They clear it out. Miller off the dribble. And Gilliam with the rebound. Final seconds, 3rd quarter. We're down to 5 seconds. Here's Allen going behind the back and lost it. Miller from center court. So the Bucks outscoring the Pacers 32-17 in this 3rd quarter to come roaring back.
Who will be able to finish the game? Because Indiana, they've got this great home court edge, Marv.
Yes, the Indiana Pacers have won 9 straight playoff games here at home. And a loose ball foul call against the Bucks. It is on Irvin Johnson. That is his 4th. Bucks 72 and the Pacers 68. Travis Best now at the point guard position. He and Jalen Rose in the backcourt. Derek McKee, Antonio Davis, Sam Perkins up front. So Larry Bird going with his 2nd unit. Best playing with the 5 fouls. He's had a very long night, and he just turned it over. Traveling violation on Best.
As Larry Bird has gone back to his rotation of Mark Jackson getting a lot of time down the stretch, Travis Best's game has declined a little bit. You need those big minutes, Marv, if you're going to make the constant and consistent contributions.
Ray Allen handling 15 of his 17 points coming in the 3rd. Hayward Workman, who was a factor in the 3rd, continues to hurt his former team. So the Bucks add to the lead. 74-68. Milwaukee with a minute gone by here in the 4th. Biggest lead of the night for Milwaukee.
Nobody. Oh, Perkins, quick release.
And that is a 3 for Sam Perkins, his 2nd from downtown tonight.
And if Indiana's going to get back on top and win this game, they're going to have to start denying guard penetration. Allen, Workman, whoever is able to get to the hoop with impunity, Mark.
Well, it is waved off. Foul committed by Jalen Rose. Sam Cassell getting set to check back in. Comes on for Ray Allen.
Sam getting dressed while the game is being played.
And George Karl has Armin Gilliam up front with Irvin Johnson and Michael Curry, Sam Cassell, and Hayward Workman in the backcourt. Gilliam, Armin Gilliam off the bench, did not play at all in the 1st half.
Armand's got a terrific offensive game. Very strong offhand, his left hand. Playing with a severely dislocated right finger.
Foul on Cassell, saying, what did I do? But that is number 3.
Working away from the ball. Jalen Rose, who's got a lot of size here. Sam, dial a violation there. Grabbing, holding, stepping on your foot, trying to take his shirt off. It does you no good to argue a call like that. You just lose all your credibility with the referees.
Mark Jackson is back, replacing Travis Best. Here's Perkins off the dribble. It counts, and the foul. Oh, Sam Perkins passing on the outside shot and taking it to the basket. And a timeout called by the Bucks. Bucks lead by 3. We'll be right back.
and really became infatuated with him. And then
Make it a one-point Milwaukee lead.
even the Senator can't control the bounce of that ball.
And this crowd has come back to life. Michael Curry. And he is fouled. Pushed by McKee. Let's get another look at that free throw by Perkins.
Off the back of the iron, everybody grabbing for it. Tipped in, apparently, by Irvin Johnson. If you can't control your defensive backboard on a missed free throw, it's very hard to expect.
And Antonio Davis gets credit for the field goal.
Poor closeout that last time by Derek McKee, who put Michael Curry on the line. I think it's very unwise to wear that much tape and that much padding, Mar. That just becomes a target for the other team. You walk out there for the jump ball to start the game, and you see a guy who's basically taped up like a mummy, and you say to yourself, that's where I'm going first.
Is that a promotion for the new motion picture? Bucks by 3. Perkins checking the 24. Down to 4 seconds. Jackson got the step and rejected by Johnson. And last touch by Antonio Davis. It will be Milwaukee ball.
Irvin Johnson has made a fabulous contribution for George Karl tonight. Run the floor, played with heart, passion, just a little bit better hands, maybe some bigger hands for Irvin, and things will be going better for his career.
Something you should work on, huh?
Yeah, getting bigger hands late in your career.
Off the turnover, Workman gets it back. Irvin Johnson with 2 block shots.
Karl's had a lot of success going with 2 point guards at the same time. Cassell, Workman.
Here's Gilliam. And Jalen Rose in the open floor. Perkins from way downtown. Sam Perkins bringing the Pacers back. The game is tied at 78. 14 points in 11 minutes for the 37-year-old Sam Perkins. Workman off the spin. And a pushing foul. Foul committed by Jackson.
Sam Perkins, one of the most devastating offensive weapons in this generation of basketball. Went to North Carolina like his former coach, George Karl. One of those guys who dreams, who lives basketball, a real sense of perfection, a sense of it has to be just right every time, as that long three-pointer was. Sam, perfect from behind the stripe, 3 for 3.
Curry shooting. Michael Curry with the touch. He has 8 points. And the Bucks back on top. They lead 80-78.
Mark, the Detroit Pistons, who let Michael Curry go as a free agent, they have never recovered from his departure.
Yeah, he provided lots of toughness. He's a defensive presence. He's co-captain of the Bucks. Foul committed by Curry. That's his 3rd.
He's a leader. He's a spiritual person who brings guys together and breathes life into a squad.
And a guy who drifted before settling first with the Pistons, and now the Bucks played in Spain and Italy and the CBA, several clubs in the NBA before he was able to settle in.
When you have a player who's willing to put his body on the line, as Michael Curry is, playing with against the doctor's orders and advice, just doing whatever he can to help the team win with a severely injured, separated shoulder there, that's what it takes to win NBA championships.
Rose unable to hit. And Curry came up with a loose ball, but the pass off the mark. And Michael Curry says, my fault. .724 remaining in this 4th quarter. Turnovers at 16 apiece now. Bucks up by 2. Here's the double on Rose. And Rose stepped out of bounds. Angling for position, he stepped back, and Hugh Hollins was right there to make the call.
Been a tough night for Larry Bird.
However, problems in the playoffs.
They never had the dominant front court. The closest they came was when they had Sean Kemp, Sam Perkins, Detlef Schrempf playing at the top of their game. Irvin Johnson was on that team, now reunited with George Karl. Costly turnover.
And here comes Jackson. Bucks do get back. Bucks lead 80-78. 6:45 to go in the fourth. Perkins trying to draw the foul. Allen gets it down to Johnson. Irvin Johnson from Ray Allen, and the Bucks now lead by 4.
Irvin Johnson forced Perkins to miss that shot. He ran by him with the 7-footer's arms, even though he's got the short, small hands. But then he was able to just keep going, and Ray Allen found him perfectly. Nice step out, Irvin Johnson.
And broken up by Allen, deflected out. Last touched by Milwaukee. Ray Allen, aside from scoring and had the hot hand in the third, has 8 rebounds and 3 assists.
3 on the shot clock for the Pacers, Martin. They got to get something. Watch Reggie Miller working off screens.
And McKee gets it in. Robinson with the rebound.
Sam Perkins just mistimed it that time for the Pacers. Pacers are having trouble scoring, Marv. Not a good sign for Larry Bird.
Milwaukee's done the job off the boards tonight. That's a traveling violation. Basket does not count. Robinson called for steps.
A moment ago, Irvin Johnson runs out behind the shot clock against Sam Perkins and just keeps going. Forces the miss, the long rebound, and over the top. Beautiful team basketball. Marv, this Indiana Pacer team in trouble. These are the kings of the one-point losses here. And Larry Bird does not want to be in a situation where the Pacers find themselves down right in the closing moments.
Yes, they've lost a total of 6 games by 1 point, which is certainly a stat of concern. And a holding foul. So Milwaukee over the limit. That's number 4 on Cassell. The Pacers were involved in 15 games decided by 3 points or less, going 7-8 in the 15 games. And as I said, they lost a total of 6 by 1 point.
And that has to kill Larry Bird, because he was the master of the one-point victory. He would be in that huddle, and he would demand the ball. He would say, just give me the ball right here, in case he would look back at him and say, hey, I'm the coach of this team. Say, we're going to give the ball to Larry Bird right here. Then Larry would go out and tell the other team.
Rose ends up with a 3-point play, and the Bucks now lead 82-81. So Jalen Rose back on the floor. Sam Perkins sitting down after hitting for 14, and the crowd back into it. Robinson with a good feed for Johnson, rejected by McKee. Miller for 3, air ball. Reggie Miller this season has not, at least to this point, hit the big shots that he has in the past.
Yeah, I think he's a better player, though, Paul. And, you know, the opportunities haven't been there. They're defending him better.
Robinson from downtown, and the Bucks now lead 85-81 with just under 5 remaining in the fourth quarter. So Glenn Robinson has 19.
Great to see Robinson coming into his own, and this is his first playoff action in his NBA career.
Jackson for 3. Well, Mark Jackson, who does not look for the shot these days, will pick his spots. And that was a pretty good spot. Hit a 3. He now has 8, and the Buck lead is down to 1.
Both teams going very small. Glenn Robinson against Derek McKee, maybe the critical matchup here.
McKee jumping out of Cassell to get a piece of it. Shot clock is at 5. Allen fires. Rebound Miller. Here comes Jackson. He had Rose on the far side and decided to regroup. Oh, Jackson behind the back again. He threw one into the crowd earlier. Nice pass. And Miller has given the Pacers a 1-point lead. They're standing and cheering. Garrett Marcus square. Allen. Intercepted by Miller. Rose. Miller for three. And the Bucks want to talk it over. Bucks were looking for a foul on that play.
The Bucks have not responded to the fact that the referees have put their whistles away, and that's playoff experience, something the Pacers have. Milwaukee, the first time in the playoffs in 8 years, not accepting that rough style of play.
They felt there was a clear out, but nothing called.
Marv, Milwaukee has dug in defensively, but what's tough about playing against the Pacers, you don't know where the offense is going to come from. Reggie Miller moves beautifully without the ball, and then Jalen Rose on that controversial non-call, everybody backing up. Actually looked like Irvin Johnson ran over his own teammate, freeing up Reggie Miller. Indiana so tough at home here, feeding off this frenetic crowd.
Key possessions here down the stretch for the Bucks, who are looking to tie the series at 1. Robinson for three. The tip. Oh, a beautiful tip by Irvin Johnson. 7 points for Johnson. And the Pacer lead is 2. With 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
No time for gambling for Milwaukee. Play it straight, play it solid, use that shot clock in the sidelines as your ally.
Miller for three. Well, there's a big shot for Reggie Miller. And he went to the holster.
When a guy backs up and starts dribbling away from the basket and shoots a fadeaway three from 10 feet behind the line, there's nothing any defender can do.
Pacer lead is 5, and Robinson lost the dribble. He thought he was fouled.
Things coming apart here for George Karl. Reggie Miller, though, finding the zone, sensing that Miller, with the shot clock running out, he needs to put more pressure on Reggie Miller in that situation.
Miller has scored Indiana's last 8 points. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. 5-point Indiana lead. Shot clock now at 5. Crowd chanting Reggie, pulls it back and fires. Rebound McKee, and he's fouled. And the Bucks saying it should be a 24-second violation. But they will not get the call.
How can you hear anything? You can't hear the buzzer go off in this arena. So the fans here making their presence felt. Reggie scored the last 8 points for Indiana, but Derek McKee has made such a huge difference, Mark. George Karl knows how valuable Derek is. He had him there at Seattle.
And the crowd quiets for the McKee free throws. Foul was called on Cassell. Pacers now lead 93-87.
There are some real questions about Derek coming back this year, suffering from multiple injuries. Right now, the knee in the back, but his...
All eyes are on me. And I think I've kind of always relished in that situation. I like the pressure. I like the focus. I like teams gearing up just to stop Reggie. I just get into that. It's the incarnate, talking about defenses, offenses. I love it.
Terrific to see how far Reggie Miller has come. Growing up in the suburbs of Los Angeles, in the shadows of his older sister, who was a better player than he was. And now, after getting a foundation at UCLA, learning from the great ones there, like Kiki Vandeweghe, moving on 12 years, all with the same franchise. His wife in attendance tonight, as she is at every game. So special to see Reggie blossoming into such a leader here in his glory days in the NBA.
Reggie with 30 points. He's the high man. 1:44 to go in the fourth quarter. And the Pacers now lead 94-87. Cassell got the step and drew the foul. Antonio Davis came over to cut the angle down. So that stops the clock, which is not what Larry Bird had in mind. And Sam Cassell, who is 6 for 6 from the line, will shoot 2.
Pacers have failed to control penetration in the critical moments of this game. And the Bucks have been at their best when Guys like Sam Cassell and Haywood Workman have been slashing, creating scoring opportunities not only for themselves, but for their teammates as well. Sam Cassell cannot make a free throw, missing critical ones throughout the game.
Sam Cassell, who played only 8 games during the regular season, shot 94% at the line.
And what a run it's been here for Sam Cassell. The blocking out here on the free throw line. Reggie Miller guarding chest to chest with Ray Allen.
Pacers by 6. Minute and a half remaining in the fourth. Jackson, played by Cassell. Shot clock is down to 7. And a traveling violation is called. So the Bucks get it back, down by 6 with 1:18 left in the fourth.
Fine pressure defense here. Larry Bird's calling out the defense.
Robinson, played by Jackson. Robinson. And a foul as McKee rebounded. The Bucks hammered him. So Derek McKee, 4 for 4 from the line. Will shoot 2.
Marv, when a team's defense is set, like the Pacers were that time, and Larry Bird had called out a defensive scheme and strategy, it's very difficult to go 1-on-5. When you start penetrating like that, and you feel the defenders coming and collapsing, look and turn for the kick-out pass to somebody who's spotted up wide open.
Indiana Pacers, the best free throw shooting team in the league. They're 81% at the line tonight. Indiana by 7 as we come up on 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. Curry going to the basket. 95-90.
Pacers more concerned with defending the 3 at this point of the game. Will concede that layup.
Bucks are over the foul limit, so these are all shooting fouls.
But that's a good foul to go against Antonio Davis, who of this group out here right now is probably the poorest of the foul shooters, Marv. And I think that the Bucks are in a situation where they need possession more than letting the Pacers run the shot clock down.
And to show you how good the Pacers are at the line, Antonio Davis is the guy who want to foul. He's at 70%, which is not bad. He has improved.
I would call that sterling.
Yes. And Indiana leads by 6 as they look to take this series to Milwaukee, up 2-0. Game 3 Thursday night at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. We'll be there here on TBS, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Game 4, if necessary, will be Saturday in Milwaukee. And a timeout called by the Bucks. We're down to 45 seconds remaining in the fourth. The Pacers 97 and the Bucks 90.
The distance, Marv.
All right, Ray Allen on a catch and shoot and is able to hit a 3. What a play. 97-93. It's down to a 4-point game with 40 seconds remaining in the fourth. And now the foul on Cassell. That'll put McKee back at the line. That's number 6 on Sam Cassell. Derek McKee, an 82% free throw shooter, 5 of 6 at the line, will shoot 2 more. So Sam Cassell is fouled out, leads with 17 points. Also 9 assists.
Did a terrific job in the early going, letting all the other players get involved, and really didn't try to get his own game going until the game was sort of falling apart, and then he brought him back, and that's really his skill. He's an offense unto himself.
Did a much better job, though, tonight. I think game 1 he was just trying to find himself, came out shooting, but as you said, try to get other people involved. Del Curry has come on, replacing Sam Cassell, who, remember, played just 8 games during the regular season. Pacers now lead by 5.
Well, the problem that Milwaukee's facing right now, they don't have any real ball handlers out on the court. There's Cassell out and Haywood Workman still on the bench. Now they bring in defensive specialist Travis Best. Mark Jackson goes to the bench to the roar of the appreciative crowd here in Indianapolis.
8 points, 7 assists for Mark Jackson. Travis Best in foul trouble throughout the night. 99-93, Indiana. Now to a half minute remaining in the fourth. They need another quick shot. Allen a moment ago hit the 3. Now goes for the drive and a stripped and foul. So Allen to the line with 24 seconds left in this fourth quarter. Ray Allen is just 0 for 2 at the line. Jalen Rose on the foul. Ray Allen with 20 points. He had that hot shooting third quarter.
Ray Allen, along with Tim Thomas, the number of other players, the future stars of his franchise, tractor trailer. And you can look at what George Karl has done at his track record in developing players. Their tractor trailer, Irvin Johnson, and the job that George Karl did in bringing Gary Payton and Sean Kemp on the early stages of their career certainly will be a factor for Allen and Thomas.
Down to 20 seconds. Oh, Workman! Workman off the steal, and this game is far from over. It's down to 2 and a foul with 18 and 8/10 seconds remaining.
Larry Bird stunned. Incredible turn of events here. Jalen Rose up the sideline, jumps in the air without having any idea. The Cardinals him throwing the ball back across the court. Haywood Workman able to finish.
Workman 2 of 3 at the line. It is a 3-point play. And it's down to a 1-point Indiana lead, and the foul is given to put Best at the free throw line with 17 seconds remaining. Best making his first appearance at the line. Excellent free throw shooter, 84%.
Well, Travis Best is an outstanding offensive player who's had to really control his game. And the Bucks really begging for the box out right here, because remember, they've given up 2 baskets for a total of 4 points on failing to get the defensive rebound on missed free throws.
Timeouts remaining. Indiana with 3 and a 20. Milwaukee with just a 20. No full timeouts remaining. So it's 100-98. Indiana, and what appeared to be Indiana just putting one away here in the final minutes is now an adventure with 17 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Plenty of time for Milwaukee.
They have just that 1 timeout remaining. Best hits on both, and the Pacers by 3. Setting up for Curry, 10 seconds, looking for the 3. Here is Allen firing for the tie with 5 and 10 seconds to go. The game is tied at 101. And Milwaukee has come roaring back, leading to the Indiana timeout. Since then, Milwaukee has outscored Indiana 8-2 to tie the game.
And a critical error in judgment by Jalen Rose, who threw the ball back across the court, enabling this 3-point play with the silly foul by Derek McKee. And then Del Curry, the presence of mind, his game is not there. Pacers flailing away. Ray Allen.
Jalen Rose gets it. Oh, broken up by Allen. Risky play. You don't want to foul here. Both teams are over the limit.
Looked like there was some contact on Reggie Miller's arm. Referees, though, deciding not to call it. Another timeout.
We'll throw in. Miller, an open 3. Not able to hit. The tip is missed. Another opportunity missed, and we go to overtime.
Complete breakdown defensively. Reggie didn't even set a screen and then come off another one. You mentioned earlier, Mar, that Reggie has not had the big moments this year. A perfect opportunity to secure the victory.
And Jalen Rose. And the Pacers control the opening tip. 5-minute overtime session.
Excuse me, Marv. Tractor Trailer only has 5 fouls, I'm told.
Jackson being watched by Workman. Miller setting up against Allen. Shot clock down to 3. McKee fouled by Robinson. So for Glenn Robinson, that is only his first foul. Derek McKee spending lots of time at the line. He's 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
Marv, that low right box for the Indiana Pacers offensive post players, Antonio Davis early, Reggie Miller, now Derek McKee, they have absolutely punished the Milwaukee Bucks on that spot, and they're going to have to make some defensive adjustments as to what they're going to do. First miss by Derek McKee. I'm not sure why Tractor Trailer is not in this ball game. He's only got the 5 fouls. That's why I thought he was out for the duration of the big comeback run by Milwaukee.
George Karl going with Irvin Johnson. Johnson getting a piece of it, and then it's kicked out. Last touch by Dale Davis, who does not like the call. Milwaukee takes over. Let's go to Lewis Johnson.
Well, Marv, on the Bucs sideline just a few moments ago, George Karl, while drawing a play, continued to tell his guys to pass the ball. That's what got him to overtime. And on the Indiana bench, Jalen Rose looking dejected, but the veteran Chris Mullin telling him to get his head up and get back in this ball game. Marv?
All right, Lewis. Indiana back to their front court. Score tied at 101. Miller for 3.
Again, the long arms of Irvin Johnson forcing Reggie to miss another three-pointer. The ball over the top of the backboard, easily called by the referees. Possession, Milwaukee.
And the Bucks going with Allen and Workman at the guards. Robinson is up front with Johnson and Michael Curry. Ray Allen guarded by Jalen Rose. Neither club has scored in overtime. We played a minute 5. McKee got a piece of it, and Jackson plays the deflection.
Showing the problems, really the liabilities of this lineup for George Karl. No ball handler. Owen Workman roughly defending Reggie Miller on the weak side.
Oh. And as Miller took it in the corner off the pick, a foul was called. Hugh Hollins, Jack Neese, Greg Willard talking it over.
There was a number of fouls. Referees just deciding which one to call here, Marv. They're going to call it on the Indiana Pacers. Dale Davis, as Miller comes off that baseline screen, Dale Davis is going to step out, and that is the right call as Haywood Workman took the punishment, drew the attention of the referee. Absolutely the right call here on the road. Tough call by good officials.
Miller trying to attract the attention to Workman, saying that he should have been called for the foul. Robinson on a quick release. And the Bucks lead 103-101. Glenn Robinson in a strong game. He has 21 points.
Terrific performance, and what an interesting jumper he has. He doesn't have that real backspin classic jumper that we see so many players have.
And here's Miller. Reggie Miller has missed his last 3, including a straightaway 3 that could have won it at the end of regulation. We're just under 3 minutes remaining in overtime.
No ability by Indiana to put pressure on the ball.
Irvin Johnson wide open, spotted by Ray Allen. It counts and the foul. So Johnson with 9, he's headed to the line, and the Bucks now lead 105-101. Miller got caught, had to commit the foul.
Ray Allen now playing the point guard as Sam Cassell is fouled out, and all Reggie Miller can do is slice it down. Not quite sure what that dance was that Irvin Johnson was performing. Do you know the name of that step, Marv?
No, pass me by. 61% free throw shooter. Irvin Johnson not able to hit. So the Bucks lead by 4. 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in overtime. Jackson for 3. Oh, big shot by Mark Jackson. And the Buck lead is down to 1.
George Karl finally got somebody to defend in that low right box. They kicked it out, but Mark Jackson, critical game jumper.
Allen for 3. And it's over McGlass, so the ball back to the Pacers. The Bucks 105 and the Pacers 104. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in overtime. Oh, Jackson fouled by Workman. And The Pacers saying in the act, but the official saying no before the shot attempt.
Haywood Workman was first on that call, telling Hugh Hollins immediately that he was passing.
Miller came off the pick. Dale Davis squeezing his way through and rejected. Irvin Johnson, a major factor here tonight, came up with his third block shot. 1:35 left in overtime.
Let's come back to Glenn Robinson here.
Workman digging. Johnson with the rebound. Now Workman was about to rush the shot. Bad play by Haywood Workman.
Bring it out and reset.
Jackson with the teardrop. Oh, he loves that shot. And you notice Mark Jackson not celebrating the way he used to. Larry Bird had a little chat with Mark and put an end to that.
Rightfully so. The only celebrating they want to do here in Indianapolis is the championship parade.
So the Pacers lead by 1. We're down to 50 seconds. An OT. Robinson. Yes! Big dog Glenn Robinson with another clutch field goal. The Bucks by 1. 5 seconds left in overtime.
Scott Williams barking up and down that bench in support of the big dog.
Jackson lost it.
The Milwaukee bench, they have virtually lost control over their Mark. You've got tractor trailer, Scott Williams, Sam Cassell, Gatling, all cheering them on. This would be one of the greatest victories in franchise history here. Maybe since the championship run in the Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar days.
Foul called on Jackson with 27 seconds remaining.
Then as the shot clock is expiring, throw it up and make sure you draw iron, and then there'll be nothing that the Pacers can do about it.
All right, Michael Curry looking to throw in. Haywood Workman surrounded. No foul yet. They were on the ball. The pressure by Miller and Jackson taking it away from Workman. Down to 10 seconds. Indiana down by 1. We're down to 5. Jackson down to 3. The one-hander. The tip is good. With 5/10 of a second remaining. Dale Davis with the tip. And a timeout called by Milwaukee. Both players are stunned.
Haywood Workman has done so much to help his team's cause tonight. Sam Cassell's already fouled out of this ball game. But the inbound pass by Michael Curry went, I think, incorrectly to Haywood Workman. Get it to Ray Allen or Glenn Robinson, better offensive players. He keeps pivoting, which is the right thing, but Reggie Miller, the quick hands, pops it away. And then Mark Jackson working toward that low right box where Indiana's been devastating all night long. Indiana pushes and pushes their way. They get the Bucks way too far underneath the basket defensively, and then just the easy stick back tap in there, and now Indiana very solid position.
Bill, an answer to your question that you posed for our staff, the playoff record, most three-point field goal attempts held by Rex Chapman, 17. So Reggie Miller with 16, one shy of the NBA. And here it is. Allen fires it. And that is it. In overtime, the Indiana Pacers on a tip-in by Dale Davis with 5/10 of a second remaining. Escape with the victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, 108-107 to take a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 series.
Let's Reggie, the first game you guys basically coasted, but tonight it was a different story. Talk to me about the intensity of this Bucks team tonight.
Well, we knew all along we were going to be in for a dogfight throughout this series. This is a young, energetic team. Ray Allen hit some big shots down the stretch. to even put it into overtime. You got to give them a lot of credit. We faltered down the stretch, and that's our fault. But we were glad and gutsy to come up with the big victory.
What was the difference in overtime?
Guts and determination and big stops. When me and Mark had Woody trapped in the corner, I knew we were going to come up with a stop. It was a matter of we were going to get a shot at the other end, and Dale came up big for us.
In an emotional game like this, can you even think about going to Milwaukee and taking one and thinking about rest and moving on to the second round?
No, this Milwaukee team is not going to go away, and they really earned their stripes tonight. So we understand that their fans are really going to be in it come Thursday, and this is almost a boost for them. This is somewhat of a win for this team.
All right, Reggie, thanks. Good job tonight, and we'll send it back over tomorrow.